South Asian Heritage Month runs from 18th of July to 17th of August every year. It seeks to raise the profile of British South Asian heritage and history in the UK through education, arts, culture and commemoration, with the goal of helping people to better understand the diversity of present-day Britain. South Asian Heritage Month is about reclaiming the history and identity of British South Asians. People need to be able to tell their own stories, and this is an opportunity to show what it means to be South Asian in the 21st century, as well as a look to the past to see how Britain became the diverse country it is today. The Westminster Youth Council members have volunteered to put together this video to raise awareness about why it's vital to educate, celebrate, and commemorate others about the history of South Asia, and how the partition has had a significant impact on the lives of South Asians.
What countries make up South Asia? Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Pakistan, Nepal, the Maldives, and Sri Lanka. Every single one of these countries has been hugely impacted by the British Empire, primarily through war, colonization, and via the British Empire. People of South Asian heritage hold a significant part of the British population, with 1 in every 20 people in the country being of South Asian heritage.
Bangladesh found her independence 50 years ago, and despite all the political turmoil, it has gone strength to strength. It has become the second largest manufacturer of garments in the world. There are over 500,000 Bangladeshi migrants in the UK, many of whom have founded their own businesses, including leading the curry industry. Other than providing employment, Bangladeshis play a key role in the British economy through roles such as doctors, nurses, and teachers. The country continues on its path to growth and to development.
How are the effects of the partition still felt today? India and Pakistan are still deeply divided. They went to war in 1965, 1971, and 1999. The borders between them are still one of the most difficult in the world to cross. Families torn apart in the 1940s are still unable to reunite even today. Tensions still simmer between the countries, with both the military and government deliberately stirring up emotions about the events in 1947. They disagree about who should rule Kashmir, which is in the north of India. You're even unable to fly direct from the capital of India, Delhi, to the capital of Pakistan, Islamabad. People are worried as both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. They point to the partition as a contributing factor in the growth of religious extremists on both sides, as well as related terrorism and violence. 70 years later, the aftereffects of 1947 linger on.
Salam Namaste Sat Sri Akal. My name is Chivan, I'm the MYP of Westminster Youth Council. It's important to celebrate, commemorate and educate young people in Westminster about all cultures and heritage. This is because it unites us as one community.
I'm somebody who doesn't know too much about South Asian history, but from listening to people I know and learning information, I'm eager to know more. It shocks me that if it weren't for opportunities like this, I would be unaware of my classmates' cultures and only be aware of my own.
South Asian influences can be found everywhere in Britain, from our food, to our clothes, to our music, and even our words. Its culture permeates all parts of British life and adds to the diversity of the nation.
The Indian textile industries offer direct employment to over 35 million in the country.
We have many celebrations across the year, such as Diwali, Holi, Eid, Christmas, Navratri, and Independence Days, where we dress up in traditional clothing.
My full name is Rajesh Mystery, not Raj. I shortened it when I started working, actually, just because some people couldn't pronounce my name. And I was named after Rajesh Khanna. I was born here, actually, in 1970 in Bradford, so I've lived all my life in this country.
What was your experience growing up Indian in the UK?
Right, okay, so I was born in 1970. My parents came over from Kenya and Uganda in 1968, and they got married here, actually. So it's the first time they met each other was in this country, and then they got married 2 weeks later. So for me, my experience growing up here, I was brought up by my parents and my family. No one knew how to speak English, because everywhere they went, everybody spoke Gujarati. So when I went to school, I couldn't speak English and I was 6. So in nursery school couldn't speak English, in primary school couldn't speak English. All my friends were Gujarati, so we talked to each other in Gujarati. So I think I was 7 before I learned how to speak English, and then I taught my parents how to speak English. So what it means for me to grow up here is, I think there's a lot of cultural differences. So part of it is actually integrating into the existing society when I was in the 70s. Part of it is actually sharing our differences with other people as well, and that's just not the way we speak, but it's actually the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the films we watch, the music we listen to, because all those things, diversity is what brings inclusion and innovation and creativity.
And what's your favourite part of Indian culture?
It has to be the food. It has to be by far the food.
How important do you think is for the next generation to learn about South Asian history?
Very, very important. So for me, my parents were very strict, so when I was brought up, and they really sort of clung on to the Indian culture. They really wanted me to embrace the Hindu culture. So which is why we spoke Gujarati at home all the time. But actually, they took it to the next level. So they sent me to Gujarati school. So I learned how to read and write Gujarati, and still today I can read and write it as well. I don't teach that. I don't force my son to do that. But I do teach him about the Indian festivals. He speaks to my mum in Gujarati, the odd few words I've taught him. And actually, the culture doesn't stand still, does it? The differences, they change, they evolve over time. And it's the younger generation that are going to do that. So it's so important to teach them that.
Imagine how it felt to lose your home, to lose your family, to lose your community.
Hello, our young friends. Sat Sri Akal. I'm Manmohan and she is Sukhvinder from Mumbai, India. And I'm 74 years old and she, well, I do not have her permission to tell it. Well, during our lifespan, we have undergone great periods of trials and tribulations and hardship. I was only 6 months old when our country was partitioned and we had to escape and come to the safer side, but we were penniless and paupers. But our parents had great resilience and positivity. So they taught us ever-rising spirit, which in Punjabi it is known as Chardi Kala, ever-rising spirit. So we remained positive. They taught us that all the time there were two choices, either to feel dejected, pessimist and unhappy, or to remain optimist and positive and happy. So which one did we choose? Well, so you must also choose the same one. Remember that what we are today or what you are today is because of the great history that we have and the sacrifices of our ancestors. Anything to say?
Yes, we are proud of our next generation and we want them to learn culture and traditions of our South Asian people.
That's great. So that's it, friends. So wish you a grand success and Sat Sri Akal.
How is this relevant in the 21st century? There are few families of Indian, Pakistani, and Bangladeshi origin that are untouched in some way by this event. In fact, some of the migration from South Asia to the UK in 1950s, 60s, and 70s can be traced back in some way to the partition and its catastrophic effects. Children with no links to India, Pakistan, or Bangladesh can learn more about the partition's universal themes and can relate to this, as it talks about survival, difference versus similarity, and what constitutes as home.
This is Ankur from Bhutan.
Assalamualaikum
from Pakistan.
Namaste from Nepal.
Walaikum, Ayubowan, hello.
Namaste, Sat Sri Akal from India.
Assalamualaikum from Bangladesh. Assalamualaikum from the Maldives.
The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. We firmly believe that a great change we must continue educating.
I'm
thank you to everyone behind and in front of the camera.
Salam, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal.
गोरों की न कालों की दुनिया है दिल वालों की, हाँ गोरों की न कालों की दुनिया है दिल वालों की। हंस के जिए हंस के मरे हम जैसे दिल वालों की, ओ गोरों की न कालों की दुनिया है दिल वालों की।
गली गली में गीत हमारे गूंजे सुबह शाम, हम गीतों के सौदागर हैं यही हमारा काम।
अरे गली गली में गीत हमारे गूंजे सुबह शाम, हम गीतों के सौदागर हैं यही हमारा काम। न सोना न चांदी गीतों से हमको प्यार,
न सोना
न चांदी गीतों से हमको प्यार। गोरों की न कालों की दुनिया है दिल वालों की, गोरों की न कालों की